Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here in our Wonderlands video, and today we're talking about Wonderlands Redux. Now, I am so excited for this. It's been a while since we've had Wonderlands content on the channel, and I cannot wait to dive into Wonderlands Redux. Today, I'm going to be going over exactly what it is, what you need to know, and all of the things that it's going to be adding to Wonderlands. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. So, quick overview for those that do not know, Redux was a mod overhaul that came out for Borderlands 3. It was a massive change to the game, adding new rarities, adding new areas, adding new bosses, adding new unique enemies to fight, kind of just reworking and adding a ton of different things to the game. Now, Wonderlands Redux has been in work for over a year. The lead developer of it, Epic NNG, I've been hanging out with since Wonderlands launched, and he's been working on it since probably the first month of Wonderlands. So this mod has been in works for a very, very long time. They've got a pretty sizable team for this of people that have helped Epic work on this mod, and the things that they were able to accomplish kind of blow me away, and I just kind of want to share what this mod is going to be adding. Now, it is important to note that this is going to be a mod. This is not something that is coming out from Gearbox. This will be available to install on PC. It will not be available to console players, unfortunately. The elephant in the room is obviously that Gearbox hasn't really had any substantial updates for Wonderlands in a while, and I don't think that they will, which is unfortunate. I really enjoyed Wonderlands. It just didn't get really the post-launch support that it deserved. So the community's kind of taken the reins over, and this update or expansion is looking insane. I will be diving in fully when this launches. So let's talk about the main features. So let's talk features, and there are a ton of new features in Redux. The first one, and probably one of the ones I'm most excited about, is they're adding action skill augments. Action skill augments were introduced in Borderlands 3 to drastically change the way that your action skills work. You could customize how you wanted fadeaway to work or how you wanted phase grass to work, and it gave so much build diversity. That was sorely missed in Wonderlands. Your action skill was the same at level 5 as it was at level 40. There was no way to augment it. Well, Wonderlands Redux is adding augments for all of the classes. That are going to get 2 new augments. I've got some showing on screen right now. I'm going to read out this Roid Rage one, and then you can read along for the rest. The other augments, we'll have to see what they are at launch, because I was not given all of them. But for example, Roid Rage for the Berserker's Dreadwind. Activating Dreadwind causes the Fatemaker to draw aggro in a large radius. Taking damage during Dreadwind grants the Fatemaker stacks of rage. For every stack of rage the Fatemaker gains, increased movement speed, melee damage, and decreased action skill duration consumption rate. However, the Fatemaker also gains increased damage taken. We've got more augments for the Feral Surge. Enemies hit by Feral Surge suffer from frostbite. For every enemy hit by Feral Surge, increase the radius of the action skill and increase frost damage dealt to frostbit enemies. Frostbit enemies cannot apply status effects to the Fatemaker for the duration this effect stacks. Feral Surge, a little underpowered. Hopefully this augment makes it even better in Redux, and this is just kind of like a small taste of the action skill augments. I did see that for the Stabomancer, the Ghost Blade will now apply stacks of bleed, and you can bleed enemies for a portion of their HP bar. It's gonna get pretty crazy. Next up, they're adding dash and double jump capabilities to all of the characters. This will help speed through the campaign, give you more mobility options, and ways to avoid damage. You'll be able to chain slides, dashes, and double jumps together. Think almost like Doom mobility, which I'm looking forward to. Next up, they're adding a new feature that now explains what unique items do and tells you where to farm them. For example, if you get a legendary that drops from the Chaos Chamber and you don't know what it is, because they are adding a bunch of new weapons and things, the item card will actually tell you what the item does, and even better, it'll tell you where to farm it. If you get a random drop or a world drop and you're like, wow, this is really cool, but I want this in fire element, and it dropped with dark magic, the item card itself will tell you where to go and farm it, which I think is a massive quality of life improvement. And that's even better because Redux is changing how dedicated farming is going to work. One of my biggest complaints with Wonderlands was that it was never really worth to farm dedicated drops. One of my favorite things to do in Borderlands 3 was go out and farm the gear I wanted. It felt so RNG reliant, and I would just sit there spamming in the Chaos Chamber the loot buddies and hoping for the piece of gear with kind of impossible odds. Well, Redux is adding dedicated drops for over 100 plus pieces of gear and a new way to farm bosses. So when you're out in the world killing enemies, you'll be getting gold, and you can go and use that gold to respawn enemies. Think almost like resting at a bonfire in Dark Souls, where you'd rest at the bonfire and enemies would respawn. There is going to be an altar that you just go up to and rest at, or pay some money to, gold, and you can summon or respawn bosses. So you don't have to exit the game. You don't need to save quit. You could just respawn the boss and farm your dedicated drop, all while staying in game, all while avoiding loading screens, which I think is just fantastic. It's crazy to me that some community members are able to pull this off. A feature that we've been trying to solve or figure out in the Borderlands franchise for a while is farming bosses without the long loading screens, and the fact that a mod is able to do this is just kind of crazy to me. So I'm really excited to be farming those. In addition to respawnable bosses, there's also going to be legacy hunts. Now, if you're familiar with Borderlands 3 Redux, you probably already know what legacy hunts are, but these are going to be new created monsters and bosses that you can fight in the game for new gear. And the way that you're going to summon these bosses are with souls. You're going to attain souls by farming the mirrors at Chaos level 5+. So you've got another reason to actually engage with the mirror system to go out and farm souls. And then with these souls, you can spawn new bosses and new enemies to hunt for new gear, which I think is also really cool. Next up, they're adding 2 new rarities. The first is going to be the pink rarity, and this will be a way to highlight uniques. Uniques in the Borderlands franchise for the longest time have been blue and purple, with the red text as the only way to know that they are something different. Now these weapons will show up as pink drops, and these pink drops will be highlighted for you to know that that is a unique, to separate them from the blues and purples so they don't get lost while you're looking for loot, and you can have another reason or easier way to identify which ones you should be checking. The next rarity are Pearlescents. Now, Pearlescents have been sorely missed in Borderlands 3 and now Wonderlands, but they are making a return in Wonderlands Redux. Now, there's a few things that make Pearlescents really cool here. The first off is that they are going to be very rare. They'll be dropping at a 1 to 2% drop chance, so these are definitely going to be items that you are going to have to grind more for, but they have a unique feature to them. Pearlescents in Redux will have a always-on feat, or a feature to them. So as we look at this shield, it says Pearlescent. Landing hits on enemies grants a stacking bonus to accuracy, melee speed, and shield regeneration rate. Now you'll note that this is on a shield. However, this works with non-pearlescent weapons. So while just wearing this shield, not even looking at the special ability of the shield, while wearing it, if you're using any other weapon, you're able to take advantage of this pearlescent trait. This means that wherever you get a pearlescent in your build, it's going to help you and have special effects while not being super overpowered. I'm really excited to go get some new pearlescents. Next up, they're adding Obsidian chests. These are a new chest to go hunt down in the Wonderlands maps. There'll be around 1 per map, or almost in every map in the game. And these new chests will give you moon orbs when you open them, as well as new or unique pink rarity items. So keep a lookout for those. Next up, they're adding more spawns into the Chaos Chamber. One of the kind of issues with the Chaos Chamber, especially at launch, was that they didn't have very much mob density. You were kind of waiting for enemies to spawn. I think that might have to do something with the PC console limitation. Wonderlands Redux only being on PC means that they can push the spawn rates and expect to see lots of mobs and monsters in the Chaos Chamber. In addition to that, they are reworking the Chaos leveling system. This is now going to be, instead of leveling Chaos from 1 to 100, it's going to be 1 to 10 Chaos levels. There is going to be significantly less Chaos levels to have to grind for. That was kind of one of the reasons that I burned out on Wonderlands, was the Chaos Chamber grind from 50 to 100. I just didn't find it super interesting, to be honest. And I really loved Wonderlands when it launched, when it just had the 20 Chaos tiers. That felt pretty good. So Wonderlands is bringing them back down to 10 Chaos. These are going to work a little bit more like the OP system, in that you're going to have to earn your difficulty just like you had to do in original Wonderlands, but there's going to be a bigger difference and more rewards as you level up your Chaos level. Chaos 10 is going to be genuinely very difficult, and you're going to have to earn that difficulty. You're going to be getting Pearlescents once you reach Chaos 8+. So those are going to be helping you get to the harder and beat the harder difficulty content. And I'm excited to run through these Chaos Chambers again and only have to do 10 trials as opposed to like 100 or like around 50 of them at least. Lastly, they're adding a raid boss rush mode. This was a highly requested feature, a way to just fight the raid bosses without having to do the whole Chaos Chamber and do all the different rooms to get to the raid bosses. If you want to test your build and see how strong you are, you can just jump right into the raid bosses. Overall, Redux is adding a ton of new features that the community has been asking for, not only from Wonderlands, but for Borderlands 3 and the Borderlands franchise for quite a while. I will be diving in with a brand new character. I want to delete everything in my vault, start completely fresh, and work my way up through the campaign, trying out the new augments, the newly buffed and reworked classes, getting those Obsidian chests, working through the new chaos progression, getting and farming Pearlescents, making new builds. I cannot wait for this. I've been waiting for a reason to jump back into Wonderlands besides just grinding to Chaos 100. So really excited for this. It comes out April 15th. It'll be free. You can download it if you're on PC. You do need a copy of the game. You cannot play Redux without a actual owned copy of the game. And yeah, guys, please go show Epic some love on his channel. Go give him a follow over there. I've been hanging out with Epic for quite some years now, and the amount of effort and time that he's put into Redux, just like day in, day out, grinding and building this mod with his team for y'all completely free is insane. It's so much work and passion and effort that's going into this, and I cannot wait to be jumping in to it on April 15th. Let me know what feature you're most excited for, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.